You're listening to Under the Veil, Witty Wedding Advice with Josie Stafford, episode number 17. Season 1 was amazing. I mean, you heard it. We laughed. I didn't cry. And you learned a lot and made wedding planning progress. The real kind, not the I pinned 302 wedding pins kind. And while we did hear from a variety of vendors, there are still categories to be heard from, including today's guest, Cristina, a makeup artist who is going to unveil all of the secrets about a perfect wedding face. Did I talk you up too much?
Maybe a little bit.
You better deliver. It's good to see your face in person because I follow you avidly on Instagram.
As do I with you.
But your face is only on Instagram stories most often.
Yes.
I just searched to find a picture of you.
I know. I was wondering. I was like, dang, she had to search pretty deep for that one.
I'm a really good investigator, i.e. stalker.
Yes.
Really
you have to be a little bit, right?
I'm really good at it.
Yep.
So recently you posted on social media about your growth. And I certainly think that once we take time to like reflect on our past and like what we've accomplished, then the positive perspective about your life can really blossom. Mm-hmm. But share with us a little bit about your growth this last year.
Yeah. So I think that this last year has been really eye-opening for me, and just seeing how I was able to work with all of these different vendors and people that I'd admired for so long.
Yeah.
And then being able to work with them now and just kind of look back and reflect on that was really just eye-opening to me to see my growth in that way. Sorry.
Well, I think it's cool because, like, similarly, when you're planning your wedding, you're like, I don't know anything. All of this stuff is new. Mm-hmm. Look at this vendor. They're way too fancy or expensive. Yeah. I could never afford or be comfortable working with them. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of it, once you have done it, you're like, oh, actually, it, like, was more of a hot mess than it looked like, and It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But I just think it's really important to kind of reflect on what you've done instead of what you have yet to do.
Well, and I think too with Instagram, a lot of times we're putting out like the best of everything and look at this cool thing that I'm doing and look at this and look at that. And sometimes you don't get to really necessarily know the person behind the Instagram or the social media account too. So being able to work with those people and really get to know them on a personal level has been really great for me too.
Yeah.
I've just really enjoyed all of the work I've gotten to do this year. All of the brides I've gotten to work with have been awesome. And I feel like we've just really connected. They're a lot like me. I feel like I'm working with a lot of people who have similar personality traits to mine too.
Ideal client.
Yes, which has been so great. So I feel like I get a question a lot of times too, like, oh, have you ever worked with, a bridezilla, or have you ever worked with a really difficult bride? And to be honest, I don't really feel...
I like my brides.
Yes. I really love my brides.
They're nice to me.
Yes.
Maybe not to everyone else. They're nice to me.
And I feel like I can relate in a great way with them too. Just going through the wedding planning process, I feel like that's been really helpful for me to just kind of empathize with them in certain ways. Know that things might not always go exactly how you want them to, but at the end of the day, your goal is the same. Everyone,
you're gonna get married.
You're gonna get married.
I think I do.
What was that?
You're gonna say I do.
You will say I do. But I think it's been really great to just work with brides that I feel, care about me as a vendor, want to support me as a vendor, and then in turn I want to make sure that their wedding day is as perfect as it possibly can be. And then working with other vendors too who have that similar mindset and just really are passionate about the business has been just really eye-opening to me, and I really enjoy it. So
it's such a great point too. When you care about someone else, you want to do more for them. Mm-hmm. And when a collective group of people cares about, like, the bride and groom.
Yes.
Then you all work harder and you work together better, and you're willing to, like, go a little bit extra. Like, oh, I got my morning, like, tea and I brought you one too. Ugh. Yeah. And then, like, we're all happier,
exactly.
in the morning. And that's, like, where everything sets the mood.
Yes.
I love that, and I think that everyone should only hire people that they like and get along with.
Totally.
And believe in what they're providing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's not possible, right? Mm-hmm. If you really like a venue and you're like, we love it, we love the patio and we love the arbor and we love when they set up the cafe lights, but the person that you work with there is kind of like shitty and they don't respond to your emails and they keep sending you the same contract, not the revised contract.
Yes.
And you're like, okay.
Yes.
I think that is a sticky situation because you really like the venue, so you're maybe more willing to put up with bad business basics. But if it's other categories where you have a little more wiggle room, like
Yep.
a photographer,
Mhm.
not to pick on photographers, but just an example.
Yeah.
There's a lot of photographers with similar styles.
Mhm.
So if you don't get along with your photographer,
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? That person's going to be glued to your side like paparazzi.
Literally
for 10
the whole
hours.
day.
Yes.
Yes.
Like-
Yes. I think it's important too for brides to remember, like, you just have to go with your gut.
Right.
You know, and I feel like sometimes, we have this vision of what, of what they want, or we all have a vision of the perfect day, and it's important to go with your gut with your vendors. So definitely to piggyback on that, there's a million photographer choices out there, but you have to make sure that you have a right fit with them. And then in my aspect too, I'm the first vendor that they really see that day a lot of times. Like,
besides the person who unlocks the door.
Exactly.
Which
literally
might not talk to them, and the
Right.
door might just already be open.
Right. And then I get there usually right away in the morning, sometimes as early as 7
Yeah.
to start their day. So it's important that day gets started off on the right foot, and they're not feeling uncomfortable. They feel like, they can count on
oh,
me.
I forgot how much I didn't like my eyebrows after our consultation. Like, okay, like what? Wait, what?
Right. So I try to bring in some good energy for the day. And I think in general what I hear from brides is that I have like a relaxed vibe, which is really good for me to hear, because sometimes I don't always feel like that inside because I care so much.
Right.
I put out all of my energy into the moment, into that day, and it doesn't matter if I'm doing 10 faces or 2 faces or how many services I'm doing that day. I get home and I'm beat no matter what, because I'm putting all of my energy into that. Yes. So, I just want to make sure that I'm bringing in a good vibe for the day, whatever it is.
Yeah, so it helps if you also like them.
Yes, exactly.
If they're not just like someone who's paying you money
Exactly.
to show up.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to that 7 a.m. call time that potentially could happen.
Yep.
And let's talk about timeline and a morning makeup schedule. Just to clarify, you do both hair and makeup, but
I
you
do.
really just, like, your bread and butter, your one true love is makeup? Or would you disagree?
I feel like I do probably a good 50-50. I have a lot of brides booking me for both services, which I love. I love, I'd say maybe I'm a little bit of a control freak, maybe a little bit.
Well, what
My
a
husband
bummer
would
if you're
agree with
like,
that.
here's your beautiful face, and then someone else
Bye.
does their hair, like their friend who's
Right.
in hair school or something.
Right.
And you're like, oh, so I'm not using your pictures for anything.
Yes. It's nice for me to be able to do both for sure. Because I do like having, that control. But also I really take passion in both sides of things. I like hair for different reasons, and I like makeup for different reasons. I went to school at Aveda. I went for cosmetology, so I was focused on hair for a very long time. But then after I left there, I started focusing more on the makeup aspect, which I think has always been a passion of mine since, bless you, since I was a little girl. I take joy out of it in different ways. I think makeup to me sometimes comes easier, where hair I sometimes have to think about it a little bit more. But I can't see myself just at least right now focusing on either. So I love
like
doing
both?
Yes, I love doing both.
Okay, so sorry, we'll edit that out. All right. So what does the morning makeup schedule look like for brides? Like, if their first look is at 1 p.m., their makeup should start at, and this is a huge question mark because I know there's multiple question marks to follow.
Yes, definitely. So there's lots of details revolving around that. So if their first look is at 1 and they're getting ready, at the venue, or if they're getting ready somewhere else, you got to factor in drive time. You have to factor in, does the whole wedding party need to be ready at 1 o'clock, or is it just the bride? So these are all questions that I'm asking the bride either via email or phone conversation, or whatever is easiest. Typically, though, I would say we want to plan on about 4 to 5 hours is the average time.
That's for like a bridal party of 5.
Yes, for hair and makeup. Yep.
Like, I have 5 bridesmaids.
Yes.
And then I'm getting ready. Both moms are getting ready, and a flower girl.
Yes.
4 to 5 hours.
Yep, 4 to 5 hours.
And that's 2 stylists.
Again,
Just-
it really
just one?
depends. Yep. No, I would not do all of that.
Okay.
No, you guys would be there all morning. So I don't like to go over that 4 to 5 hour mark, because then you're having to wake up super early. Number one, nobody really wants to do that on the wedding day, especially if they have the rehearsal the night before and all of that. I think it's really important to get your sleep. But also, I don't want to burn myself out and not be at my sharpest for the bride, who I typically schedule towards the end of that timeline. So 4 to 5 hours typically is, the average time that we're spending, because that's enough time to really solidify all of those services, and not be taking up an entire morning either. So if you have to be ready at, what time did you say, 1?
Yeah, let's say 1 o'clock is the actual time that the bride or groom is going to look at the bride or groom.
Yes. So then we'd kind of work back from there. So, okay, how long is it going to, do we want to plan on you getting to your dress? This is also an important conversation to have with the planner, which I love planners. I love my planners. Important conversation to have with the planner, but then the photographer too. So kind of getting those details from them. And then I like to factor in touch-up time too. We want everyone looking their freshest and sharpest before they head out the door. So I'd say if someone needed to be, first look at 1, we'd probably want to plan on like an 8 a.m. start time, with us arriving about 15 minutes early to get set up and everything.
So 2 caveats, right? 1, does your venue allow you to be there at 8 a.m.?
Right.
Potentially they allow people in at 10 a.m. or at 1 p.m. If it's 1 p.m., like, let's not get ready on
We're not
site.
going to get there.
There's a million, there's other places that will offset the cost of paying probably for that early access.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's 10, you could pay for the extra 2 hours, and that would be advantageous, because then you wouldn't have to think about like transportation, getting there, doing the first look, it's pros and cons. So when does your venue even let you come in?
Mm-hmm.
And then what is the other thing? Oh yeah, how long potentially could it take for you to get into your dress, and who's helping you get into your dress?
Exactly.
This is like my favorite thing to talk about ever, getting into your dress.
Really?
I don't know why.
Really?
I talk about it often. Okay, if you're, let's say, who's most often helping the bride into her dress?
The mom. Yeah.
Her mom, and then maybe like her sister, if her sister's like a maid of honor or bridesmaid.
Yes.
Okay, sister. Those 2 to 10 4 people. Okay, let's keep it not 10.
Yeah, hopefully not 10 people.
Those 2 to 3 people.
Yes.
Because I'm usually involved.
Of course, yeah.
Need to be dressed and have their makeup done.
Mm-hmm.
So, a caveat on top of the caveat is I had a bride last February get married, and she was getting into her dress. It was kind of like, oh my gosh, hurry, we have to do it right now. And the mom wasn't ready yet, and she didn't have any makeup on, and her hair had kind of been like, maybe like 2 curls had been put into her pixie cut.
Yep.
She threw on her dress quick. She didn't have shoes on. And the whole time during that, like, getting dressed on picture time, she was uncomfortable. She didn't want her face photographed.
Yes.
She didn't even really want her. She was like, my hands are dry. I didn't put lotion on yet.
Right.
She didn't even really want her
So
hands photographed.
She wasn't prepared at all. Yeah, she just wasn't feeling ready at all.
Still got taken, right?
Right.
Like,
yep.
And for like, like for the general public, they look fine. Like, the mom is not like this hideous, like, evil witch that like showed up and was like, I'm putting you on your dress. No, she looks fine.
Yeah.
But I'm sure for her, she's like, I hate those pictures.
Right.
And I'm sure she never wants to see them. She doesn't want them printed. She probably wants them burned. She doesn't want like the world to know. I won't be putting them in the show notes.
Yep. They're not going to be in my living room framed or anything. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that's kind of something to be mindful of, that the people who are going to be in that picture with you also want to look good, because you're going to look 1,000 times better than them no matter what, because you're a bride and you're in white and you're pretty. Like, no matter what, you're going to look prettier. Yep. So if they can just at least feel pretty, like when they're not standing by you, then I think that's a kind gesture.
Totally. And I think that kind of piggybacks onto vendor communication, which we talked about earlier too. Making sure that everyone's kind of in the loop. So I do have brides that book me for, just hair or just makeup, which is totally fine. And that works great if it's a larger wedding party too. But I think it's important then to have that communication set up with all of those vendors that are involved in that look too. So, planner, photographer, all of that. So we all know, and we can make sure, okay, well, mom needs to be ready to get you in your dress at, X time. So we need her done by this time so she can be dressed and ready for the first look at 1.
Right. So as far as like the getting ready schedule, if we're starting at like 8 a.m. and then bride's getting into her dress at noon, and then the first look happens an hour after that start time, because it takes a little bit to get into your dress, to get settled. Maybe you want to like reapply lipstick. Maybe you have to pee. You should probably pee before you like go and take an hour
before you get in your
pictures.
dress. Yes.
Also, what if your dress is not like pee friendly?
Right.
And then,
yes.
like
do that
both,
before you get in.
yes, both ways. So the people that should be coordinating your wedding timeline for, especially the morning, your planner or day of coordinator, you should be involved.
Yes, definitely.
But then also important persons. So it can be like mom, bridal party, anyone else that's getting hair and makeup.
Right.
If you have a personal attendant.
Yeah.
They should know this because they're going to be really key at yelling at people and telling them to get dressed. Or I will do it.
Yes.
But it's just so nice when I don't have to be the bad guy. And then your hair and makeup artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just wrote a email and it's like, no, and then. And then.
No, and then.
Also, your photographer.
Yes.
And if you have a videographer. And since that is like 20 people, it literally could be 20 people.
Yep.
Perhaps you should just have a printed schedule.
Printed schedules are incredible.
I always encourage them, and people are like, Josie, you cray. We're not going to do that.
No.
It'll feel like we're at work. I'm like, whatever.
No.
Like, this is not a scheduled break time. So
definitely handed out a printed schedule at my rehearsal dinner for the day.
Yes.
For the next day.
Yes.
And I definitely had people look at me like I was crazy.
But they used it. And
I can tell you my wedding was right on time.
Yes,
so.
samesies. I had like a little day or weekend schedule for my wedding because we got married in Washington, and we had like a Seattle day, and then we had a rehearsal or a groom's dinner, which was like a full day barbecue, and then there was a wedding, and we were like at the hotel, and then we had to get to the ceremony venue, and then we had to take the shuttle back to the hotel for the reception. Anyway, so it was a lot of things. And yeah, I printed one off, and my maid of honor, Laura, who's probably listening because she's such a good friend, was like the queen of time. And she'd be like, okay, let's go.
I love it.
She'd be like, Josie, this is what's next on the list. How do we get there?
Yeah.
We walk, Laura. We're walking from the Space Needle to the pier.
Gosh. I love it.
So all those people should be coordinating in on the timeline. I think it's the best to start with where are you getting ready?
Right.
What time does the venue open? And then look at how many people are getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at how long that's going to take, maybe adding a stylist.
Yes.
And so your planner is kind of doing that with you. Then let's go to when are the photographer and videographer arriving, as in how many hours do you have them contracted for?
Right.
So most likely it's going to be like 8 or 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Some photographers are crazy and they do full day coverage where they're like there when you get there and they leave when you leave.
Oh boy.
I'm not a proponent of that strategy.
Right.
But that's okay. I see cranky photographers and you don't. So.
I'm there for the beginning time of that. So.
So then bring them in and make sure that you are going to get the getting ready pictures that you want, which aren't really getting ready pictures.
Right. So that's
spoiler.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
I love that. So kind of piggybacking on the when the photographer gets there too. So I love to know when they're arriving, because then we can plan those quote unquote getting ready pictures. I feel like a lot of brides are like, okay, well, I want the photographer there, like right when I sit down in your chair, makeup free, hair not done. And I'm like, ooh, no, you don't.
You don't.
Because
you're going to be faced with two types of pictures. One where you're like the prettiest you've ever felt and been in your entire freaking life.
Yep.
The other where you are normal.
Yep.
Nothing's wrong with normal, but when you put it next to really pretty you're like, well, what am I going to do with these pictures?
Right.
They're not going on my social media. No. Because only the prettiest me goes on that. They're not going on like...
Sorry, totally hit that mic.
Getting violent. So they're not going to go... I don't know where you would put them. You would put them nowhere.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put them in your scrapbook. Okay, no one does scrapbooks. I need to like stop dating myself.
It's like a what?
Your picture book?
Sure, yeah. We'll go with that. Yeah.
Photo album.
Yes.
Oh, that's
you're not getting them printed.
Yeah, you're not going to do anything with them. You're going to look at them and you're going to be like, meh.
Right?
Swipe, 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 swipe.
Yep.
Swipe. until you get to the pictures where you have makeup on your
Yes.
face and your curlers in your hair at the very least.
Right. Exactly.
And then go from there.
Mhm.
Well, that's not 8 a.m.
No. So, like booking the bride's time around when the photographer gets there. So the photographer is arriving at 11 a.m. Or 10:30 if you're getting in your dress at 11 a.m. You want to be pretty much done.
Right.
So you want your makeup on at least. And like you said, the curlers in your hair or the hair just finishing up, whatever it is. Typically, I think the best quote unquote, getting ready pictures of the bride is when their makeup is finished and we're putting on the lip. So those last details where I have the lip brush in my hand and we're just like placing that lip on, or maybe I'm just giving you like a little bit more hairspray, are typically the best ones.
Here's like a fake blush brush.
Exactly. Yes. So I have
There's not blush on it. It's
right?
just like,
we're just pretending.
Just touching your face.
Yes. And I've done that before too, and that works great. I mean, those are great pictures for you to have. It looks like we're in the moment doing that because we kind of are. We did do it. But you're just going to feel better when you have a little bit more on than nothing. So.
Yes. I would challenge you listeners to find a picture you like of someone getting ready on their wedding day where they don't have hair and makeup on, but then later in the day they do, and send it to me, because if you like it, I will change my opinion, but I'm 100% sure it does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
Unless someone's like really, really, like, I don't know, Penelope Cruz could probably like do like no
Giselle,
hair and makeup, and you'd be like, oh, she looks the same.
Right.
Because she's always pretty. I don't know. Or not. Who knows? People Magazine probably knows. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about trials, hair and makeup trials, and Lenny Pizza Cat.
Oh my gosh, yes. Lenny Pizza Cat. You must have saw my post yesterday.
I'm just proving that I am an avid
social
media follower.
I love it. So, of course, I just want to talk about my cat first, but but I won't. I'll talk about the trial first, and then we'll talk about my cat. So trials, or I call them preview appointments. They're basically the same thing.
Cute.
So preview appointments are booked about 6 to 8 weeks prior to your wedding day. This is typically when all of your details are kind of ironed out. Like, you've got your dress, you have all of your accessories, your veil, hairpiece, whatever it is, and you usually have a pretty clear vision on how you want to wear your hair and makeup. This is also a good time to kind of iron out those details of, okay, my photographer is arriving around this time, maybe some changes in the schedule, whatever it may be. So that's why I book them 6 to 8 weeks prior to the wedding date. Because you're kind of a little bit more focused, but we're not so close where you're like freaking
Panic
out,
mode.
Stressed out, panic mode. Yep.
And then you're not so far like away
Right.
that it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about cutting my hair.
Exactly. Or I don't know what my hair color is going to be yet. Or
I might dye my eyebrows.
Exactly. Or should we wear it up or down or mohawk or whatever it is? You have a pretty clear vision, and we've kind of chatted about that usually beforehand too, via email or whatever it is. So I have a home studio in Bayport. If you don't know where Bayport is, it's like Stillwater. It's
You
like
should,
the same area.
because bread art.
Oh, yes. Bread art's the best.
I
Oh my gosh. Bread art is so good.
I know. It's so deceiving. I love places like that.
Right?
Where you're like, oh, this is it. And then you walk in and you're like,
This is the best. And it smells so good. So Bread Art is a bakery right in Bayport. It's just like the cutest little thing. So I live just like about 2 blocks south of that.
Shoot.
Yeah. Close enough to walk. It is close. Everything in Bayport is close enough to walk to, which is great. So I have a little tiny studio on the back of my house where I have the preview appointments at. That gives me a lot of control over lighting and everything, and plenty of time to really focus on you. My cat, Lenny Pizza Cat, might make an appearance and say hello as well.
What kind of lighting do you have in your studio?
Yep, so I use LED lighting in my studio,
Yeah.
so I try to mimic the closest to natural photography and natural light as I can. And my studio is pretty much 2 walls of complete windows too, so I get a ton of natural light, which is really great. I think it's best to have your preview kind of booked in lighting that's going to be similar to what you're going to be working with that day. So like having the preview appointment in the afternoon is best, because that way you can see what it looks like in natural light.
Right.
I think is really, really important. So those are typically booked for about 1 to 2 hours. Yep. So if you're doing just one service with me, if you're just doing hair or makeup, we book them for about an hour, hour and a half. If you're doing 2, it's 2 to 2.5, because I love to talk.
Yeah, me too. I was like, 1 hour?
Right?
What can you accomplish in 1 hour?
So I chat a lot during
Yeah.
the preview appointments. It's a really good time for me to get to know the bride a little bit better, because usually prior to that, I've just been corresponding via email. So it's a really good time for me to get to know them, their personality, what they're like. I get to hear like a little background of, how they met and, the engagement story, and then about family members too, and, who's going to be there getting ready with them that day. So there's a lot of talking that goes on.
But that, because you want to get to know them and their like aesthetic that they're going
Exactly.
for, right? Like,
Yes.
are they like bold and sassy? Can you be a little more adventurous? Or are
Exactly.
they really wanting something classic and,
Yes.
like imperial or something?
Yes.
I don't know why I said that word, but
That's a good one. Imperial. I haven't used that one yet. So I kind of delve really deep into the pictures that are shown to me too, and probably like more detail oriented than I maybe need to be on those, but it gives me the opportunity to really make sure that I'm figuring out exactly what they want in that photo. So if they show me a picture of a bride with like a really smoky eye, sometimes I feel like what happens is they see a really pretty picture and they're like, oh, I really like that. But then I talk to them more and, well, I don't really wear that much makeup, or I'm not comfortable with like a lot of black eyeliner. So that's why I kind of ask more of those detailed questions.
Smoky eye is really bold.
Right, exactly.
It's like a statement.
It's a statement. Yes.
Like you're saying, I know we're getting married at 3 p.m., but I'm ready for the night.
But I am ready to party.
Yeah.
And there's different versions of a smoky eye too. So really, I think it's important to show up to your preview appointment with pictures or send them in advance. I love having them before the preview so I can be fully prepared.
So how did they send them to you?
Yeah.
Pictures? Do you do a joint Pinterest board?
You know
That's
what?
Crazy.
I don't.
Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. I love that. I usually just have them email them to me, like one or two of their favorites.
Have you, I know we haven't done it yet, but maybe it will happen.
Yeah.
Ever been added to like their aisle planner or honeybook?
No.
And then in aisle planner, which is the free wedding planning like software online app, Dealy Bob, there's a design studio. So like I started creating that's what I sent you, I think. And it's all images.
Oh, yes.
It was like
yes.
a Canva PDF, but then
Okay.
I uploaded it into the design studio.
Okay.
So then if you were like a planning partner in Aisle Planner, you could just go in there and be like, oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, the timeline. Oh yeah, like
nice.
Update details about the contract that they booked.
Love it.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet.
Okay, so they just email you.
Yes.
Boring. Just kidding. Or what if a bride wanted to sometimes I do this with my brides. I'll tag them on posts on Instagram hey, did you see this? Or hey, is this what you were thinking? Do you ever do that?
I haven't
Oh my
done that
gosh.
yet.
Clients of Christina's do this because I think you would love it if your clients tagged you on stuff and then you could be like, oh yeah, I like this too.
Yeah.
And then because that's where I'm always at.
Yeah.
Instagram, other wedding vendors. I'd love to be hanging out with my brides and grooms on Instagram.
That's true. Yes. I think I
you.
have gotten tagged and stuff like that before. I've had people screenshot things for my stories.
Yes.
And send them to me for inspiration, which I love.
Because then you're like, great, I did this.
I totally know. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have a pretty clear vision on what you want to, or not to be overwhelmed with 6 different options for makeup. Of course, it's okay to try different things at the preview. That's why we do them. So if you're not sure if you want a bold lip or a nude lip or something like that, that's easy. Those are easy changes, but I think it's important to stay true to who you are in what you're wearing for your hair and makeup that day, and look like yourself. I mean,
yes, look like yourself.
To look like yourself, yeah.
An enhanced version of yourself.
Yes, I am not the type of makeup artist who wants to make you look completely different. I want to make sure that you feel confident walking down the aisle, but I don't want to make you look like a different person.
Or also make you uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
I don't wear mascara. I don't own mascara. I haven't worn anything on my lashes.
So then we wouldn't be doing double stacked lashes
Probably not.
on you.
Maybe 3 extra guys.
Yes, we'd be little tiny individuals or something like that.
I actually think about that often.
Yeah.
Because you ever think about oh, should I get new headshots and what would I look like?
Right.
And if I had $1,000, who would I hire? And
right.
What would it,
Yes. Yes.
I think about this all the time.
Yes.
You're in those thoughts. Okay, so the trial is at your house, or the preview.
Preview. Yep.
And they should bring pictures. They can just have them emailed to you or on their phone.
Yes.
Should they bring anything else?
Yes. So any accessories that you may have. So if you have a veil, please, please, please bring the veil. Any hair clips or accessories are great to have too, because those can make or break an updo sometimes. You know, putting those in can just totally transform the updo into something
Yes.
that you absolutely love.
Or then what if the opposite? You're like, I spent $300 on this accessory. I'm showing
Right.
up on the wedding day. Can we put this in? And you spend like 30 minutes putting it in.
Yep.
They're like, I just don't really like it. And
Right.
you're like, okay, great. So now you're late for your first look.
Yeah, which I
and it's my fault.
I never want to be the reason that someone is late. I am a freak about time,
Yes.
so I definitely don't want to be that reason. So it's really, really good for me to be able to kind of iron out all of those kinks at the preview appointment. That way, when we walk in on the wedding day, we're both confident, like, okay, yeah, we're going to rock
got
this.
Do it, girl. And then you press play on the Macklemore song.
Oh, my
and you're
gosh,
like-
yeah. Or I love to listen to Heather Traxel, if you're listening. You know this already. I love to blast rap music on my way to weddings before I get there. It's like
It's
6
really
a.m. in the
amped up.
car. Yeah. So I do a lot of that before weddings so I can just be really pumped up before I show up. But yeah, so back to previews. Sorry, I got like a little sidetracked for a
I
second.
know. I'm so excited for wedding season.
I know.
Any day now.
Right? Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, so just bring any accessories. If you have statement jewelry, I think that's really good to bring too. So if you've got like a big earrings or a necklace, because that way you can really see how it all looks together. I have a lot of brides who will wear a like a white shirt, which I think is good.
I think it's smart.
Yeah.
Or tube tops aren't really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
A bandeau.
Yeah.
That's not even really a thing anymore.
No.
I went to like buy one and I went to like whatever, Aerie, and I was like, oh, this store. Never been in it. And I
Really?
was like, do you have those things that are a bra but not with straps, but not a strapless bra? And they're like,
They're like,
a
"What are you
bandeau.
talking
And I
about?"
was like, yeah. And they're like, maybe we have like one left. I was like, what the? Josie missed that boat. Like, I'll just stick with my sports bras.
I love
Thanks.
that. That's so funny.
So wear a white top.
White top is good. Yeah, I think that those are probably like the biggest things. You don't need to show up with your makeup bag or the makeup that you typically wear, because I have everything. So
Yeah.
I think I get that question a lot. Like, oh, well, do you have like a foundation shade that's going to match me, or do you have
You
X, Y, and
blend,
Z?
right?
I will custom mix everything to make sure it's a perfect match. So you don't need to show up with that. You can show up with another person if you want. Just like when you're trying on your dress for your dress fitting,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to make sure that you don't have too many people in the room. So I would say limit it to one, maybe two other people that you feel confident will help you make a good decision and won't distract you and won't change your mind too much or stray it into what they want.
Right.
So,
Like if you in your head are like, oh, I kind of like this. And then your mom's looking at you like, oh
Right.
my God, that's the ugliest I've ever seen you. You're like, okay, great. Well, and then, but the thing is if you had just like been on your wedding day and your makeup done and you did it that way, your mom would not be looking at you
Right.
like you're the ugliest child she ever birthed. Like she would be like,
I
oh my
hope
gosh,
she
you're
wouldn't
so
say
pretty
that.
and like your eyeshadow is so different than you usually wear, but you're so pretty. You know,
Yes.
like she would say that. My mom would say that. I'd be like, Mom, shut up.
Please
But
stop.
but it'd be fine, you know.
Yeah.
And then at the trial, it's like it's your day and it's your
Exactly.
face and it's your body. You should look how you want to look.
Exactly. So I think that's important to kind of keep in mind with people that you're bringing to anything that's happening with the wedding day, but especially the preview appointment. Make sure limit it to like one or two other people. I have a lot of brides who come on their own.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
Because it is a really intimate thing.
It is. Yes.
Like having your face touched
Yes.
and done up.
Yes.
And most girls, I think, out there in the world that have never had their makeup done by you are like, I never like my makeup when someone else does it. So
I hear that a lot.
there's
Yes.
a lot of anxiety,
Mhm.
fear,
Yep.
mistrust.
Yes.
And
And I
you have to, like,
totally
win 'em over.
what was that?
You have to like win them over. You're
Yeah.
like, it's fine.
It's going to be
Let's
okay.
hold hands and listen to rap music. It'll be good.
Well, maybe I shouldn't
No,
do that.
you shouldn't.
I feel like I hear that a lot from people. Like, oh gosh, I've had my makeup done and I just have never really liked it, or I've never felt like myself. And I've had that happen to me. Actually, the very first time I ever got my makeup done. This is probably why I am the way
Is
I
this
want.
high school?
Yeah. So this was at a counter that I won't name. But I was working retail and I knew one of the girls at the counter and she's like, oh, I'll do your makeup for you to go out tonight. And I'm like, oh, that'll be so much fun. I'm like 16. And she's like, oh, you like more of a natural look, right? This is why it's important to come up with pictures. And I was like, well, I don't really think I like a natural look, but yeah, sure. We can do something different. I'll do a smoky eye.
Yeah.
So I ended up with like purple eyeshadow, like up
Yeah.
to my eyebrow, foundation color that didn't match. It was super cakey. I was like mortified. So I can totally relate to getting your makeup done and not liking it. So now I feel now, just because of the experiences I had, I am definitely a light-handed makeup artist, and it's always easier to add than take away.
Right. Right.
But I ask a lot of questions during the trial, and I ask a few times, like, how do you feel? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like yourself? And I think it's, important to feel comfortable, feel like yourself, but also do you feel like a bride?
Right. Do you feel, yes, because this can't be, it shouldn't be your normal everyday look.
Right.
Because this is like a really big special event.
Yes.
So it's like if you were going, let's think like back to, maybe not all the way back, because I feel like you and I have been with our spouses for a really long time. So if I think back to like when I first met my husband, like I did have the purple eyeshadow up to my eyebrow and cakey makeup on.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, you look better when you wash your face. And I was like, okay. But the point is that you want to like try and make an effort and like enhance your natural beauty.
Yes.
Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so bring a buddy, but maybe only people who aren't excessively judgmental. And then anything else that they should be bringing. Like, I always feel like people might want to bring like their specific lotion, or maybe this goes down the rabbit hole of if people have like allergies or sensitivities.
Yes. So those are good things to let me know prior to the appointment. Typically people who do will know and they'll tell you right away. But if you do have sensitive skin, it is important for me to know that, and I ask that before I apply anything too, because I don't want anyone breaking out in any sort of rash or anything like that. So,
do you have go-to brands for sensitive skin? And what is the reaction even to usually?
Well, it really depends on the person. So like traditional sensitive skin would be someone who you put something on and their skin gets red or inflamed or they get a rash.
That's my mom.
Yes. So some people can be sensitive to chemicals and some people can be sensitive to natural ingredients. So it really can just completely depend. Most of my products in my kit are great for sensitive skin. I have sensitive skin myself.
Yeah.
So
I know.
Now we just like started a chain reaction of like
just
coughing.
do it. Listeners or YouTube viewers, you're like, what
is going on?
I was like scarfing my breakfast burrito before this, and it has dairy products, and dairy products are like natural phlegmy, like producing food. So I have extra phlegm.
Oh, yum.
Right now. So I'm clearing my throat often. I'm just a regular person like you.
I love that. That's so great.
Okay, so sensitive skin.
Sensitive skin. Typically people will know that they have a sensitivity. They don't always know what they're sensitive to. So I think it's important for me to just check in with them throughout the appointment, make sure everything's okay. But if you have true sensitivity, sometimes it is best to bring
your own products.
your lotion or something like that.
Okay.
But again, that's why we have a trial.
Right.
Because if there was a reaction, we're able to kind of nip it in the bud then, and we avoid
before the day of your wedding.
Yes, we avoid the day of drama with that. So
yes. I personally don't have sensitivities, I don't think, really. But personal choice, I went like weird organic with all of my makeup products. So they don't have parabens or sulfates or any of that like stuff. Do you have products that you like for that, or do you ever get requests for that?
Well, sulfate products are typically going to be involved in like face washes and anything that kind of lathers. So I don't really have a lot of people asking for that. I've had a couple brides who have been really sensitive with parabens and stuff. And in that case, we might use some of their own products, or I can purchase things that I can provide for them. Those ingredients, but I don't feel like I get like a ton of people asking for that.
Just Josie, because she works in hospice with people who have breast cancer.
Right.
And there's a lot of research on parabens.
Right.
And cancer.
Yes. And I think if you're
So
using those
happy.
for every day,
Yeah.
that's different. That's something to really keep an eye
But
on.
like a one-time.
But for your wedding day, you need products that are going to last a lot longer, that are going to photograph better, things like that. So if you're willing to take
I feel
the
like
leap for
if
one
I
day.
hadn't been married yet, I would be willing to take the leap with you.
Okay, great. So I think that's important. I think it's important to take care of your body, take care of your skin in, natural ways every day. But for your wedding day, sometimes you have to
Right.
veer
Put on
off
the fake
path
lashes.
a little bit. Put on those fake lashes. Use the aerosol hairspray.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, what are some skincare routines that you do personally that you think everyone else should get on board with?
Yes.
Because Lane picked up that.
Oh, the jade roller. Yes. Okay. So I love the jade roller. So this is, I don't really know how else to describe it besides it's a little rolling thing that's made out of jade. And jade has anti-inflammatory properties to it. So I'm very much into anti-inflammation everything. I suffer from a lot of joint pain. I suffer from acne and just in general inflammatory issues like that. So I try to avoid products or things that are going to cause those. And jade
Like Girl
helps.
Scout cookies.
Like Girl Scout cookies that I brought in today. Thank you, Penelope Teletinic, for those. But yeah, so the jade roller is going to actually help your skincare products absorb better. So anything you put on top will absorb better into your skin. Really, I think for me, it's really helped just alleviate breakouts or just kind of get rid of that inflammation and redness with that. It feels amazing.
Yeah.
And it lifts your skin.
It's fun to watch.
It feels, it's got this cooling feeling. And I'll just sit there on the couch and watch my Netflix and roll my face out with this jade roller for 25 minutes. It's great. So it's kind of like a little mini massage or mini facial for your face. So they're $25, I think. You can get them on Herbivore. Awesome. Exfoliation is a must. Gotta do it, especially if you want your makeup to lay nicely on your skin. So if I don't have a good canvas to work on,
Right.
anything I put on top isn't going to look how it should.
Right.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing I see with brides, is that they're not exfoliating or they're not exfoliating regularly. So there's lots of different products you can use for that. There's a whole long list. But just you making sure you're doing that 2 or 3 times a week and seeing an esthetician, I think, is super important.
Yeah. Are you an Amber Bud fan?
Amber Bud's awesome. She is awesome. Yes. There's lots of different estheticians and facialists out there. I think it's important to find someone that you know and trust. Amber Bud is great, though. And, yeah, exfoliation, that's another really big one.
Any other skincare routines that you feel like your brides should do or grooms?
Yeah. I feel like now a lot of people have found great routines. I feel like social media and just the internet in general have really changed people's perspective on skincare. So I feel like there's a lot more knowledgeable people out there now. Cleansing every day. You should be washing your face these are basic things.
Wash your face.
Wash your face, especially if you're wearing makeup. But even if you don't, you just want to be washing dirt, environmental pollutants.
I switched to a white towel. Oh, man.
And you're like, whoa.
Okay.
Whoa,
Behind my ears.
Right.
Missed that spot.
Yeah.
A couple times.
A few times. It's okay. So washing your face every day, twice a day, I think is really important. There's lots of great cleansers out there too. So wash, exfoliate, treat any specific skincare concerns, and moisturize. If you're not hydrating your face, also you're going to feel like the Sahara Desert. Even if you're oily, please put moisturizer on. Please do it. Because again, if the skin isn't properly hydrated, anything I put on top isn't going to look good.
Hydrating out on the outside topically, but also drink water.
Drinking water.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Like jade roller.
Jade roll and
water.
chug it. Yeah. And chug some water. Definitely.
That's going to be your next Instagram story. Social proof that you jade roll
Right?
on Netflix.
Yes. Jade roll and Netflix.
Okay, so getting into maybe the not just topical ways to take care of your skin, let's delve into the world of Whole30. Because was that the second time that you did it or third?
I've done it 2.5 times.
And you're not in the middle of one right now. That's
Definitely
not. The half.
not.
Okay.
Hence the Girl Scout cookies.
What is Whole30 anyways?
Yeah, so
I don't even
Whole30
know
is
anything about it.
it's like a body reset. So you're just basically cutting out a bunch of different things to reset your body, kind of figure out what's maybe causing certain issues for you, whatever it is. And then you do that for 30 days, and then you're supposed to slowly implement them back in, unless you're me and you have
And you
a
go
red
to a
velvet
brewery.
cupcake
Oh, yeah.
on day 31, which was totally worth it, by
For
the
a
way.
second.
But yeah, so then you just kind of slowly add the things that you took out back into your diet to figure out what's maybe causing issues or whatever it is.
So is it kind of elimination, or do you start with like just fruits and vegetables?
So it's an elimination.
Yeah.
So I always like to start with the things you can have as opposed to the things you can't have. So it's a pretty protein-heavy diet. So you're eating a lot of meats and fish and all of that. Vegetables are huge, and then fruits
veggies.
are a big part of it. Well, a small part of it too. So
what did you do with your Costco cauliflower? Because we like got it the same day.
Are you
serious?
serious?
I was like, oh.
The riced cauliflower, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I love buying that frozen because it lasts forever.
Yeah.
We just do stir fries with it.
And just like instead of rice or with rice?
Oh, no. So no rice either. No grain. No grain, which, yeah, that one's hard for me. And if you know me or follow my Instagram stories, I also love beer. And
yes, grain.
And that's all grain. So you can't do any grain. So we replace like the rice with the cauliflower rice.
Yeah.
And then we just do stir fries with that. And we made
that
our
cauliflower rice is so good. But we mixed it with the regular rice.
Oh, you can do that.
Because we're not doing Whole30
Yeah.
as that noise. But
yeah.
I think every once in a while my husband will be like, okay, I'm not going to drink beer for a while. But then we go on a vacation. And
Yes.
that's all we do on vacation. We just go to random breweries and
Yeah.
meet strangers and
Yes.
get tours. And
I mean, I have 2 kids, and I swear to you, breweries are like more kid friendly than like most other places.
because it's like large and loud.
Yes.
So no one's like, oh my God, your kids.
Right. And
Your
nobody's
kids are talking.
Right? Exactly. And there's usually like games there that they'll play with
Yes.
and stuff too. So yeah, we love our breweries.
Okay, what's your favorite ones to go to?
Lift Bridge in Stillwater.
Yes.
It's the bomb.
Yes.
My kids love that too.
What's that newer one? That's isn't it newer by Jax? Oh yeah, this is horrible.
In Stillwater?
Yeah.
There's Maple Island downtown.
Yes, that one. That's not new though, is it?
No, that's been there for a while.
Oh, shoot.
I haven't been there for a long time, but Lift Bridge is kind of like our jam. That's
Go to.
Yeah, that's what we'll go to locally, in the Stillwater area. But I mean, we've been to so many around the state. I love Castle Danger.
Yes.
Up in Duluth.
Cream ale.
Oh my gosh, so good. So that's a little drive, and we'll make a trip out of that one. But Bauhaus too is another one of my favorites.
Really?
I love Bauhaus. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So.
Okay. What's your favorite type of beer? Are you a light
So
beer girl?
I actually have an allergy to hops.
Oh my gosh. So none.
But all of them. So I am kind of allergic to hops, but
To all hops, because did you know this, that like humans are allergic to hops? Like you can't touch hops. It's like poison ivy. Like you'll get an allergic reaction. You can't like grab hops and like rub it on your skin.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know
it's
that.
like there's a flower that's like that. Chocolate Queen Anne's lace or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's like a certain variety that you're
See, I've
allergic
heard
to
that
it.
like hops is very similar, as like the very similar chemical compound to ragweed,
Yes.
and I'm like super allergic to ragweed. Like
Yeah.
eyes puff up and like
yeah.
nose runs. It's just a hot mess, and that's how I am with hops too. Like if I'm around like a hops whatever vine or whatever
Yeah.
there, I'll get the same kind of thing happening. And sometimes if I'm drinking a really hoppy beer that has that
So no
fragrance,
IPAs for you.
I love IPAs. I mean, I will tolerate it because I love them. But I've started to just kind of like avoid them a little bit more because of
Yeah.
that. So I drink a lot of sours.
Yes, I love sours.
So, because
Oh,
sours,
I knew you would.
I don't know what it is. Well, sours in general, I just love everything
'Cause
sour.
I like kombucha.
Yes.
And it's very similar.
It's so
or
similar.
framboise or however you say it. And that's kind of similar
Oh, yeah,
too.
the framboise. Is that-
Yeah, but
I'm not
say
fancy.
Say it not fancy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not fancy.
framboise.
Framboise. Yeah, so any type of beer like that, I really do love.
Okay, but
Yeah.
have you been to Wild Minds?
No.
It's in Richfield, and they do sours. They do a ton of sours.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to
Are you
make a
going
trip
there
up there.
after this?
Yeah, I'm like, what time do I need to? Love that.
Okay, so you're allergic to hops, but you like beer.
Yeah, I
See?
know. Fun fact.
Push the limits every day. Let's talk about makeup
Yes.
still. How do you pick a lip color? I feel like this is a simple question, but I'm not good at picking lip colors for myself. I just
Yeah.
use hand-me-downs. Like, my aunt's like, oh, I don't want this anymore. I'm like, okay, I'll use it. And it's like berry and it's horrible.
Like,
And
just
it has
doesn't
like
work.
metallic sparkles in it. I'm like, well, I
Ooh,
got to
yeah.
use it up.
Yeah, metallic spark. Yeah.
It's Lancome.
Oh,
So,
yes. Okay.
from my aunt who's 60.
Oh, so totally, yeah. It's going to be totally different. So lip color, it's hard for me because I feel like in general, I just kind of am like gravitating towards something for someone, and sometimes I can't even explain why I like it, but I'm just going to be like, ooh, this is going to be perfect for them. But I think there's just like some ground rules that are good to know when you're picking out a lip color for yourself. Look at your undertone and the undertone of the lipstick.
What does that mean?
Yes. So undertones are typically going to be cool or warm, or some people will call them like blue or orange. Yes. So you want to take a look at that. So a lot of times people's skin tones will either be a cooler skin tone, so in the pink or blue category, or they're going to be more warm, like the yellow or red. So you want to find a lipstick that complements that.
So is in the same color wheel or opposite, right? Because blue and orange are opposite.
Yes.
So do you want to like complement by being opposite or
Complement by being the same. Yes.
Because that's what the word compliment means, Josie. Great job. Now on to
Well,
third
it could go
grade
either.
spelling.
It could go either way. It could go either way. But
Okay.
yes, I think it's good to pick something that's similar to your skin tone. So if you have more of a warm skin tone, you want to choose more of a warm lip color.
Okay.
But I mean, just wear whatever the hell you want, whatever makes you feel good. Honestly.
And if someone doesn't like it, just kiss your spouse more.
Yes.
And then you'll have to reapply something different.
Exactly. I feel like I get a lot of questions with people or people tell me like, oh, I can't wear a red lipstick. I can never find a red that works for me. And I think that's a good rule of thumb is to use something that's closer to your undertone of your skin. And then when it comes to nudes, you don't want like concealer color nude. You want something. You don't want something that's super light. So typically you want to go kind of closer to like the shade. This sounds really weird. The shade of your gums is a good nude shade. So, and if you want to whiten your teeth, you want something that has more of a bluer undertone. So a lot of people will say they'll put on a lipstick and it makes their teeth look yellow. So if you feel like that happens, choose a shade that has more of like a blue or cool undertone.
Okay, and then how do you tell this? How do you tell if it has a blue undertone or an orange or yellow or whatever? Do they just hire you? Because I feel like I could spend like 8 hours at Sephora and be like, so I'm leaving.
Yes, right. Yes. So I actually used to work for Sephora, so I have all the insight there. I mean, definitely you can talk to someone at the store and they can help you pick something out. They have a really good system there that actually shows you what the undertones of the lip color are.
Yeah.
So they can like match you to your skin tone and then help you pick out a lip color, which I think is just incredible.
Fancy.
Or I can just come with you shopping. I mean, I can just do that too.
You're there every Saturday from 5 to 8. I'll see you there.
Yes.
I'll be the one with 6 baskets.
Right, exactly. Sometimes just swatching them on your hands too. If you pick up one red and then you put another one right next to it, you can see the difference.
Right.
So like a true red will have more of like a blue undertone to it, where like a orangey red would be more warm, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
kind of.
I'm not getting married, so I don't care. No, I care. What about tips for avoiding blemishes or hiding blemishes on your wedding day? So tips for avoiding, that's before the day, and then tips for hiding, that's on the day.
Yes. Drink water. Drink all of the water. Staying hydrated is just super important. That's going to help with under eye bags and circles, and then also keeping your skin hydrated and balanced. If you do get a blemish, don't pick it or pop it. Please, please, please. That will be harder to cover up than if it's just like a red raised area. They do make like spot treatments. Tea tree oil works great because I feel like it's less irritating. There's a few other types of spot treatments that you can use. And don't change anything in your skincare too much in that week. So don't be like going and getting a new like face mask from wherever and putting that on and irritating your skin.
So don't procrastinate your skincare.
Right.
Like, oh, I've been meaning to do this, but now I'm going to do it 2 days before my wedding.
Yes.
And surprise, I'm allergic.
Right, exactly. Don't make any big adjustments in your skincare. I would say even for like that last 3 to 4 weeks. If you are going in for facials, continue to do that. But yeah, don't make any drastic changes. And then waxing too. A lot of people break out from getting waxed. So if you do decide to get waxed, try not to do that within like 6 days, 7 days.
Or just embrace that women have mustaches too. Like, it's a thing. It's okay.
That is true.
Like, as you get older, it's only going to get more pronounced.
Exactly.
And more
So just
horrid.
embrace it now.
Yeah, at least you don't have like the weird like smile line mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a thing.
I haven't seen that yet.
When you're over 80.
Okay.
Testosterone has to have a chance to like,
Hello.
pump up the volume. Okay, so don't change your skincare routine. Maybe in the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Mhm.
Maybe don't get waxed right the week before. When would you say like your last eyebrow appointment can be?
I would say a week before at the closest. Your esthetician or your waxer will probably have a better gauge on that. It's not only can it be irritating and cause redness sometimes, but what I've had people get waxed like the day before, 2 days before, and makeup won't stick to those areas if they're freshly waxed. So,
or I feel like your skin's a different color because the sun wasn't reaching.
Yes, yeah, because they're lifting up kind of that first layer of skin.
Right.
So yeah, I would say like the closest I would recommend would be like a week, but
that's just being reckless.
yeah. No
or
closer than
embrace your mustache and unibrow.
Exactly.
That's who
Said
you
by
are.
Josie.
That's who you are. I don't know. What about some groom makeup tips? Because I've had a couple grooms that have just applied like concealer quick.
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh, did you really want to do that right now? Or like, I don't know. They didn't even use a mirror. Like
Guys are so different when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we call that in the industry, we call that men's grooming. So I think using a good moisturizer, again, as a bride, you're using skincare. The groom should be using skincare as well, just in general to keep his skin healthy. I have had a groom and a bride in the past who went to, they were outside. I don't know if it was like the state fair or something, the week of the wedding, and forgot to put on sunscreen. So I think that's an important thing typically a bride's going to have that in their skincare routine, but a groom might not realize or doesn't do.
Then you have a red face for
Yes.
your wedding pictures.
Right. And then you're going to have to I'm going to have to apply more makeup to you than you want me to. And, your groomsmen might make fun of you. And we don't want that. So put sunscreen on as a groom on your face, please. Please, pretty please, and your ears. And then, yeah, good moisturizer that's going to have some oil control properties to it too. I have done concealer on grooms before if they've had a blemish or something like that, and that's super easy and quick to do. But sunscreen, please.
On the note of red faces, have you ever noticed? I think that guys tend to get nervous and clench their fists. And so, something happens with the blood flow.
Yeah.
So then when they unclench them, because the photographer is like, stop making fists.
Their hands are
awkward. Their hands are so red.
Yeah.
They're so red.
Yeah.
They're maybe they should just do a Will Ferrell move and be like, where do I put my hands? But stay like this for a while. And then it's time for the picture and they're like,
yeah.
Because
then it'll be
weird.
perfect.
It's weird.
I've never noticed that before.
Oh, I could show you. I'll put no, I
See,
will
you're
not.
there for the whole day, where I'm there for the morning.
I'll put a picture in the show notes.
Okay,
and
perfect.
everyone will be like, "Oh my gosh, is that real? It's real. It's not gloves.
Really? Red gloves, totally
Pink
normal.
fingers. It's a real thing. Okay, what is your perhaps best advice for brides and grooms on their wedding day that you can give, or that you like to give, or that you often give?
That's a good question.
I know. Christina did not prepare for this.
I know. If I could only show you the notes that I wrote today. I'm
I like it. You were right in all caps. I sometimes do that.
Yeah, but then I can't read any of it, because it's in all caps and it all looks important. It's bad. Just relax. Honestly. I mean, yeah. It's all going to be okay. Everything's going to go exactly how you want it to. And if it doesn't, you're not going to know.
Right. Or 20 years from now, and when everyone's like, oh, you've been married for 20 years now. What was your wedding day like?
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, well, Susan showed up late and
Right.
ruined the whole ceremony. So pretty much it sucked.
Yes.
What?
Yep.
And if that is your priority, like maybe
Right.
you're
Gotta
also divorced.
Yeah. You got to rethink things a little bit. Yeah, don't get caught up in all of the little tiny details. I mean, just you don't need to. Think about what the goal is of the day. Eat, because I didn't. And yeah, just I think a really cool thing for me that I remember on my wedding day that I sometimes tell brides, especially if they're super stressed out, because I was a big ball of stress. Like I said, I don't always like seem like that from the outside, but I definitely am on the inside. I internalize all of it. I think for me it was really cool. Like during my ceremony, I like took a moment to like look out at the crowd and like I'm gonna start tearing up right now, even thinking about it. But just like seeing all those people that were there that were like, you know, there to support us and happy for us. That was just a really special moment for me. So I think it's if you can do that. We're both tearing up right now like a bunch of saps.
Because I did the same thing, and I have the cutest picture of my dad, like, escorting me down the aisle for the processional.
Oh.
And I was like, I came out, okay, I got married, and it was this golf course, and here's the golf course, and then it was, like, a balcony. And so I came out on the upper level, and then the string quartet was, like, right here, and we, like, had to, like, walk around and then go down the stairs, and then I turned the corner, and that's when I could, like, see everyone, and I was like, oh my gosh, all these people. And we got married in Washington, so like half of our wedding flew out, or half of the wedding guests flew out just for our wedding. And it was just like, this is like the picture, it's like me like this. And I like tried to lean forward so it wouldn't touch my mascara. This is probably what scarred me for life. That's why I don't wear mascara anymore. So I was like blinking really hard.
Oh.
And my dad was like, it's okay, kiddo. And I was like, don't call me kiddo. You're making it worse. But it's like a really cool moment.
It really is.
It's like so profound and
it really
moving.
is. And then, you know, after that, I feel like you do that, and then the next moment is like tunnel vision, and all you see is your soon-to-be husband, and it just like makes everything okay. Like whatever happens after that doesn't matter. Like you're just like so excited. So I think it's cool for me because I'm in the moment with them in the beginning of the day when they don't get to experience they haven't experienced it yet, so they don't really necessarily know what's coming next.
Yeah, but you do.
But
You're
I
like,
do.
Oh, girl.
Like I know you're really stressed right now because I totally know how that feels, but it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be great,
and it's gonna be awesome. And you have so many people that are supporting you and your fiance and your journey and today that it's all gonna work out and be great.
It's gonna be great.
So just party hard and have a great time.
Yes. So drink your mimosa and close your eyes so I can put your eyeshadow on.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that is another thing too. Sit in the chair and just like relax and enjoy
Don't
that.
touch your phone.
No, and that's really the only time during the day that you get to just sit there and be quiet if you want.
Right.
You know, so enjoy that moment and like process your emotions and just you know try to relax if you can. And drink your mimosa.
Yeah, drink your mimosa. Because nobody likes half-drink mimosas being left. And then there's always one bridesmaid that is like extremely thirsty and has to go through and drink all everyone's leftovers. That may or may not be me. All right. Well, I end every episode with a high five. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I had a great time. This was super fun.
Yay. We can keep going on YouTube because I want to talk to you more about beer.
Oh.
I'm going to get on the mic for this one.
Okay, good.
This whole thing about hops, not
hops.
like giving you an allergy. I have never heard of that. I have a hop vine in my backyard. I brew with hops.
Okay.
Never had an allergy.
Okay.
Really?
Type of hop. I'm looking.
I mean, like on the skin.
I've never. Yeah, because I have. So Liftbridge does like it's a pickin' and grinnin' event, and this is how I found out that like I had the allergy where like my eyes would like water and my nose would keep running.
Yeah.
So they have an event where people go in and actually pick the hops off of the vine, and then they help brew they use that hops to brew the beer. But I've never seen people really maybe they're wearing gloves or something.
I mean, it can be like the binds are really prickly.
No, it's the pollen from hops can cause allergic reactions in some people. So maybe I exaggerated. It's not like every single person.
Yeah.
But like if you're allergic to pollen.
Yeah. Yep.
Or like hay or things that grow.
Yeah.
And bloom, then
you could get a rash that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, let me look.
I don't get a rash. My eyes literally
from the pollen
will
probably.
swell shut. And my nose will not stop running, but I'll drink it.
Well, maybe it's a different, like the hops that you like pick, and then what do they do to hops? Brew them? Boil them?
They brew
Burn
them,
them?
yes. I mean, there is boiling involved in
Right.
brew.
Yes.
Well, and smoke them. I mean, like a smoked meat. Not
do
like,
they?
I've never heard
can
of that.
smoke
I'm sure
hops.
someone does it.
Anyways, Josie doesn't know what she's saying.
This is just for the YouTube audience. It's fine.
Oh, clarification. Love it.
What was I saying? I was talking about because maybe the type of hops that you pick and then use for beer are not have already bloomed and aren't like there's no pollen anymore.
I feel like this is a follow-up
Is that
question
it?
I'm going to have to ask my husband later since he's a bartender.
And he'll be like,
he'll know.
that Josie sounds like an idiot.
No. See, I don't know, and I drink it all the time, and I still don't know. I'm just like, I drink whatever I like and tastes good,
Yes.
and that's all I care about, even if I am going to sneeze a lot. It doesn't
Do you
bother me.
have a Native American or Asian background?
No, I'm Mexican.
Oh, because those
50%.
ethnicities don't do well with alcohol, so
Oh, really?
alcohol allergies. Yeah.
Well, I think having 2 kids makes you lightweight now, too, so. I
Okay,
don't need
more
much.
sours. Have you ever heard of Colorado has a really good what's it called? It's like this teeny little brewery, and this pub in Duluth serves it. And it is called, they have a really good sour that's like the most delicious thing I've ever tasted
I don't know if I've had that.
entire life.
Fair State Roselle is one of my favorites.
You know what? I for some reason didn't get that. I thought maybe I didn't like it, but you know what I remember now? I like got it. A Kause.
Yeah.
They did like a Bloody Mary bar and waffle breakfast thing, like get together, and you brought a gift to swap.
Yes.
And that was my swap, or that's what I got.
Yeah.
And I had it in the fridge for a really long time, and then one day I came home and it was gone because my husband had drank it. And I was like, would I have liked that? And he was like, you wouldn't have liked it.
I think he was
But I
just
think
saying
he was saying that.
because it's really good. Yeah, and they have a new. I think it's a raspberry Roselle is new.
Yes. Okay, I need to get over that.
And then Indeed is another one that I think they just launched.
I just tried
sour. Yeah,
it was good.
Yes,
I love sours.
I do love sours too. In small, I mean, I couldn't just like drink them all day long, but they're good to just have like one and enjoy.
Yeah, I could drink them all day long. I'm like super obsessed. Funkworks. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't know if I've tried it.
Delicious. We went there last year. or the
I
year
love that. I
before.
love that you love sour beer,
I'm so happy.
and I love kombucha too. So
I love kombucha.
Yeah.
I buy it in like the huge bottle.
yeah, well, that style
and
shoot
it
we
does
did.
not last long. Oh yeah, and
I knew it was going to be a great fit when I saw that you had that big bottle of kombucha there. I'm like, yes, I love it. I love kombucha.
I try to do that every time. Sometimes I forget because no one really drinks it. And then I
Oh
end up
my
taking it
gosh, I
home.
could finish that. What's your favorite flavor of kombucha?
I'm really obsessed with that berry ginger one.
Aldi has them on sale right now for $2.89.
I'm going right now.
I just picked some up
Or
yesterday.
the Gingerade or Trilogy.
Trilogy's my jam.
Cranberry. What is it? Like
Cosmic Cranberry.
Cosmic Cranberry.
Yep.
And I like any of them, but those, like, I don't really like, there's one of them I don't really like. A blue one.
Oh, I don't know if I've had that. See, when I was on the Whole30, we couldn't drink. And I know. So I had kombucha all the time.
There's a Black Label kombucha. Have you ever seen it?
No.
I feel like it's such a myth. Okay. Joe Rogan.
Okay, yeah.
He talks about all the time in his podcast. I know. I have to bring up Joe Rogan every time I'm around Ian. So he says that there is a Black Label, and GTS makes it. There's a Black Label.
Really?
And has a higher concentration of alcohol in it.
Okay.
So I feel like ooh, woo, off of like a regular kombucha.
So do I.
But if that, like, I have like fantasy dreams where I can get drunk off of kombucha. Where I'm like, I'll have a kombucha, and like celebrities are like, what's that? I'm like, it's really healthy for you.
It's a really good drink.
It's just like, it's really good for you. And it's good for your gut and digestion.
It's the best.
And then Tom Hardy's like, sign me up.
Love it.
Weird. That was a weird tangent.
No, that was great.
That was truth. Well, I think we're good
Love
now that I've lied and freaked everyone out with my odd dreams about kombucha.
No, I love it.
We can be done.
Sweet. Oh, hey.
Oh my God, that's what the back looks like? Okay.